Hello, good afternoon. Today I'll be looking at making jumpsuits, which is something like this. Jumpsuit is something like this. So from the shoulder, I first of all get the full length of the jumpsuit and measure the half length. I've made this upper part, which is this one. This is the upper part. So what I'm going to focus on now is the trouser part. Now, in making the jumpsuit, for this one, this is the half length, and I measure the full length of the trouser to this end here. This is the full length. So I'm going to make the trouser. I know many of us know how to make jumpsuits, but I just want to add a little bit of experience that I have. Now, in making the trouser, we need the hip of the person. Now we all know that the hip is divided by 4. That should supposed to give me 10.5 for the hip. But in the trouser, we only have front and back. We have the front and the back of the trouser. And if you look at the shape of a woman, her back is always bigger than the front. So if I divide this hip by 4, that means I'm supposed to use this hip for front and back. It might not be balanced on the person. So what I do is, what I've realized is that the back is always bigger than the front. So if I'm going to say I'm supposed to use 10.5 for the front hip and 10.5 for the back hip, meaning the two measurements are the same, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the back bigger than the front. So if I'm having 10.5 for the front, I'll make the front 10 and I'll make the back 11 inches. You can see, from here now you can see that the back hip is bigger than the front hip. For the waist, we divide by 4. The waist is 32, and if you divide that by 4, you have 8.1. The tie, our tie is 24. Now I'm supposed, because the tie is one leg, I'm supposed to divide it by 2. So if I divide the tie by 2 now, the tie is just one leg, which is front and back. So I'm going to divide the tie by 2. If I divide this by 2, I should be having 12.1 and 12.1. That is, the front will be 12.1 and the back is 12.1. So, like I said, the back of the trouser of both male and female is always bigger than the front. So I'm supposed to make the back bigger than the front. So instead of having 12.1, 12.1, I have to make the front smaller. So let me say if I remove half inch of this 12.1, I should be having 11.75. If I add it to the hip for the tie measurement for the back, I should be having 12.75. So you can see that both measurements they are different. That is for the tie. And for the knee, I measure the round knee also. I need it. I have 17. So if I divide by 2, because it's one leg, if I divide by 2, I'm supposed to be having 8.5 and 8.5. Like I said, the back is supposed to be bigger. So if I remove half inch from the 8.5, add it to the back, I should be having 9, which will still give me 17. 8 plus 9 will still give me 17. And the round bottom, I have 13 for the person. That means if I divide by 2, I'm supposed to be having 6.5, 6.5. And like I said, the back and the front are not the same. So I have to remove half inch from this 6.5 here. I'm going to have 6 and add it to the measurement for the back. That should give me 7. And if you add 6 and 7, it's still going to give you the same 13. Now the waist to hip and the waist to tie, what our advice is, all of us know that one, divide the tie by 4 and add half on 1 inches. Since it's jumpsuit, our advice is add 1 inches so that it will be tight for a crouch. So if I the waist, the hip is 42. If I divide by 4, I should have 10.5 plus 1 inch. I should be having 11.5. You can use half inch if you want to be more fitted. You can use half inch, which that will be 11. But this I'm using 1 inch. I don't want it to be too tight there. Now, if I know the waist to tie, for me to get my waist to hip, I just simply remove 3.5 from this, from whatever measurement I have for the waist to the tie. So this is 11. If I remove 3.5 from here, I should be having 8. Yeah, I should be having 8. should be having 11 and a half divided by 13. 11 and a half minus 3 and a half should be having 8. Yeah, no, yes, it should be having 8. So the waist to hip is 8. So I'm going to make the trouser now. Since we have understood this, the way I broke this down, I'm going to measure it here. This side on the half length, we say our waist to hip, I measured 8, and our waist to thigh was 11 and a half. So I'm going to do the same thing at the back also, like this. From the half length here, our waist to hip is 8, and our waist to thigh is 11 and a half. So I'm going to join the lines together. I join it like this. I join it like this. So the waist, I'll measure it along this half length here. The waist is 8.2. I mean 8.1, which is 32 and a half. So if you want to add that to the front, if you want to add that, whatever measurement of that you want to, if it's 1.5 or 2 inches, you just simply add it here. But for my trouser, I don't want to add that. It's a darkless trouser. So I'm just going to measure the waist, where the waist stops here originally. I'm going to measure a hip. This is the hip line. This is the thigh line. So I'm going to measure a hip here. A hip, remember the way we divided the hip? I told you the back hip is always bigger than the front hip. So what I have for the front hip is 10. So I'm going to measure the 10 straight out like I'm making a straight skirt. I'm going to measure the 10 at the full length. Then I'll join both together like this. I'll join both together like this. I'll shape it up. Then I'll shape it to the waist here. I'll shape this to the waist here. Then I'll shape it like this. So you can see it's looking like a straight skirt. For the back also, I'm going to do the same thing. Now this is the zip line at the back. Remember, I'm going to measure inside like this. So I'll measure the hip. First of all, I'll measure the waist. Remember, like I always say, the back of a woman is never straight. I remove half inch inside here and join it to the hip line. I'll do that first of all. The back of the woman is never straight. Then I'll measure the waist of the person here. Measure the waist is 8.1. This is our waist. If you want to add that, you add, but I'm not adding that to this measurement. I don't want to add that for the trouser. Then I'll measure our hip. Our back hip is 11. Remember the way I divide it. So I'm going to measure the hip straight down like this. I'm going to first of all extend this zip line down here. Measure 11. If you notice that I never start the measurement at the edge of the paper here, I gave them little distance because of the tie that I'm going to create. I join it straight down like this. Remember, I'm not adding any dart to the waist here, so I simply join it to the waist. I can make my, if I want to add that, let me say I want to add that now. I want the dart is, let me say 1 inch. So I won't get too confused. So this is that. I can make it dartless. You can see the shaping is different because of the dart. Let me just add that so I won't get too confused. So we have done that now. So now for me to get the tie, the extended tie, for me to get the measurement, what I simply do is whatever I have here at the hip, I'll divide it by 4. Now what I have here is 11. I divide 11 by 4. If you divide 11 by 4, I should be having I think 2 3/4. Yes, I should be having 2 3/4. Now I'm going to measure the 2 3/4 outside here like this. Now this is it. I measure it 2 3/4 here like this. So I'll extend this line. I'm trying to create the tie now. It might be a bit complicated, but it's still easy. Now this is the tie. So whatever I have from here to this place here, which is the depth of the hip, which was 11 and a half, I'm going to divide by 2. I'm going to explain why. Now I have from here to here I have 11 and a half. I divide 11 and a half, I should be having 5 3/4. So I'm going to mark at this straight line here, I'm going to mark 5 3/4 points here. So from this, you can see I have this L shape here like this. From this side, I'm going to measure 1.5 like this. I'm trying to make the curve for the back, measure the 1.5. Then I'll shape it like this to join to this point here. You can see to join to this point here, and I'll join it to this waist here like this. That is a crouch for the back. Remember how I got it. Now for the front, since this side is 2 3/4, I'll just measure maybe 2 inches or 1.5. Let me say I use 1 3/4 here. Let me bring the camera so you can see very well. Measure 1 3/4 here. Like I did at the back also, whatever I have here, I'll divide into 2. From here to here, I'll divide into 2, which is 11.5. So it's supposed to be 5 3/4. Then I'll shape it to this point like this. From this L shape which I have here, this L shape, I measure 1/4. So this is, from here you measure 1/4 like this, and you shape it to the front. This is how you create the crotch. So we'll continue now. You can see the shape of the trouser is the next thing. I want to get the knee, the knee of the person. So for me to get the knee, I'll measure from where I have the thigh here, the thigh measurement, to the full length. What I have here is 29. I divide it by 2. That should give me 14 3/4 minus 1.5. Everything end up to be 13. What I have from the waist, from the thigh to the full length, divide by 2 minus 1.5 will give you the length of the knee. So the length of the knee is 13. So I'm going to measure 13 here. I'll join it together like this. So now I want to start shaping the trouser. So what I simply do now is this. You remember I've extended this crouch outside here like this. I've extended this crouch here. So I'm going to measure what I have here. Extended crouch. Whatever I have here, I divide it into 2. Simply share it into 2 like this. This is what I have, plus whatever else I have here, I mark it here plus quarter. The add quarter to it is going to be somewhere. So this line, I'm going to extend it down. This is the way to make your trouser balanced, straight and balanced. That's what I'm trying to create here. So this is my answer, 6.1. I'm going to measure it at the knee, 6.1, and at the lower end here, 6.1 also. So I'll join a straight line like this. I'll join a straight line like this. Just wish you are following, which I'm trying to make you understand very well. Now, this is the knee for the front. This is the knee for the back. So the way I got this line, I'm going to do the same thing at the back also. I'm going to have here, I share it into 2. I share it into 2 like this. I share it into 2. This is my answer. Plus quarter, add quarter to it. So I'll measure it straight down. The new answer I have, 7.1. That is the center line of the trouser. I'll join it straight down like this. Join it straight down. So now this is the knee. This is the knee for the back. You can see this line has divided this place into 2. This side and this side. So I'm going to measure her knee. Her knee we have here was her knee we have here. The knee for the back, the round knee is 9. So now I'm going to measure 9 here. because of this line, I have to share that 9 into 2, which is 4.5, 4.5. So I'm going to share it like this. The knee here, 4.5 here. I'm going to measure 4.5, which is going to give me 9. Now for the bottom I have 7. So that 7 I have to share it into here, 3.5, 3.5. So I'm going to share it like this, 3.5 and 3, which is going to give me 7. So I'm going to join this to this one like this. Now join this like this. So, and for this side now, this is the thigh area, this is the hip. So I'll join the hip area first. So I'm going to join it from this knee, I'm going to join it to this point here like this. You can see now, this is the shape of the trouser. So I'm going to do the same thing for the front also. For the front, this is her knee, and her knee for the front is 8. Her knee for the front is 8. I'm going to share 8 into 2. I'm going to measure 4 here. I'm going to measure 4 here, which is going to give me 8. And at the down, her bottom is 6. I'm going to measure, sorry. I'm going to measure 3 here, and which is going to give me 6. So I'm going to join it to the knee first, like this. Like this, I'll join it to the knee first, like this. Then, next thing I do is I join it to the hip here. I join it to the hip here. Like this. This is the shape I'm going to have. Now, well, I'm not corrected the thigh yet. So we are still focusing. I want to focus on the hip to make sure the hip is correct. Now if you look at the pointness of this hip, you can see that it's a bit pointing out like this. So I'm going to try and make it very balanced so that I won't be having an extended hip pointing out here. So I'm just going to reduce it a bit like this. Because I'm using the biro, I can't erase it, so you have to bear with me. So to make it almost straight, it's not supposed to be pointing out like this. So this side is no more there. So for the back also, I'm going to do the same thing. This is the hip here, you can see it's pointing. So I'll try and bring it straight like this. So the side will be bulging out like this. Now I want to check the hip whether it's correct now. If you remember, the hip for the front is 10 and the hip for the back is 11. So that means this side is supposed to be 10, this side is still 11. So I'm going to check to make sure it's correct. Now I'm going to measure the front and the back together, which is going to give me 21. 21 plus 10 is supposed to give me 42. Because this is one leg. This is the back of the leg, this is the front of the one leg. We have to make sure the front and the back give me 22. So I'm going to measure. I'm going to start from the front here like this. I'm going to start from the front. Start my measurement from here like this. I put my tape here to stop at this point. Now what I have here is 10 1/4. You see? Sorry. What I have here is 10. I started from here. What I have here is 10. I'll continue to the back. Everything must give me 21 like this. So continue to the back like this to make sure it gives me 21. Sorry for the camera that is shaking. You can see 21. That means our hip measurement is correct. So you can see that the back is bigger than the front. So we want to check the thighs now. The accurate thigh for the trouser. Her thigh was her thigh is 24.5. So I'm going to start measuring from here. So now what I'm going to do, remember when I join from the knee, I only join from the knee to the hip here. So for the front now, I'm going to join from the knee. I'm going to join for the front. I'm going to join from the knee to the front thigh. So this is what I'm going to do. can see the trouser now. So I'm going to measure the tie from here. With the front and the back is supposed to give me 24 and a half. So I'm going to start my measurement now like this. I'm going to start from this side. Now when you want to measure the tie measurement, you don't measure from this tie line. You bring it down a bit like 2 inches or 3 inches. You are not going to rule a line. You just try and use your initiative to say, okay, from here to here is 2 inches like this, or 2.5 or 3 inches. Now you measure along that line. So I'm supposed to get 24 and a half. So from here to here is 11. Then I'll continue that 11. I'll continue that 11 from this side here. I'll continue that 11 from here. And this is 11 to give me 24. 24 and a half. So I'm supposed to get 24 and a half. Now, I'm short of half inch now. So what I can do now is, remember I use 1 3/4 here. I use 1 3/4 here, so I can extend it out to use 2 inches or 2 1/4 like this, and I'll join it to the knee again. So I'm going to measure the tie now. This is almost 11 and a half. I'll continue at the back. I'll continue at the back like this. Just wish you can see it very well. I'm looking for 24 and a half. You can see this is 24 and a half here. Her thigh is 24 and a half. So from here I'm going to join it to her knee. Join it to her knee like this. So you can see the trouser properly now. This is the trouser for the front, and this is for the back. So I'm going to add my sewing allowance now. At the back, at the side, I'm going to use 1.5 inch as usual. For me, I use 1.5 inch. Sorry. Let's use 1.5 inch. Make sure it's straight down like this. So my camera is not capturing everything. Sorry about that. So this is the bottom, this is the inner leg. I'm going to measure 1.5 so allowance also. Like this. And this is the back. This side I'm going to measure 1.5. Remember, I added that allowance to the waist here. I added 1 inch that allowance. So I'm going to measure the sewing allowance. Let me cut it off so that it won't be too much pulling on the paper. So let me cut the front trouser out like this. This is the front trouser. Let me cut the side for the back. Now to place the dart, what I simply do is, this is the waist is from this side to this point here. So whatever I have here, I divide into 2. So if I divide this to 2, let's measure and see what we have here. This is 9 1/4. If I share it into 2 now, almost 4 3/4 minus 1 each. So the dart is going to be here like this. So the length of the dart, you can use 3.5 or 4 inches like this. So the dart we used was 1 inch. So I'm going to share the dart half. So I'm going to have half here, which is 1 inch, and I'll join it to the length of the dart like this. That is the dart for the waist. That is the dart for the waist. Then you add the zip allowance at the back. If you want to add now, though that our design here, from the design I have here, you can see that there is a line cut across the middle of the jumpsuit, meaning the zip is supposed to be at the front for this. So if I want to add zip for the front, and this is just a joining at the back, you can say add zip at the back. If you want to add zip allowance for the back, this is what I advise. From the down here, you add ½ inch here like this. If the zip is going to stop maybe at the hip line, from here you add the zip allowance. See, you bring it out like this. If I'm going to use 1 inch for the zip allowance, and I'll join it to the waist like this. 1 inch. The zip is going to be at the back. This is the back of the trouser, and this is the front. Now, this is the front here, but because I'm going to add the zip at the front, just where I added the zip allowance at the front, at the back, same thing I'm going to do at the back. This is the front of the trouser. This is the front of the trouser. So if you want to add your pocket, now normally the width of the pocket, you can use 6.5, you can use 7, depends on how long you want the pocket to be. Now, this is where is the pocket is going to stop at the side. I'm making a slant pocket. There are different kind of pocket, but later we'll see to that. But for now, I'm making a slant pocket. I'm going to use 1.5 here, from here to here. So I'll join it like this. So this is the pocket side. Before you cut the pocket facing, so let me just cut the pocket facing. Very easy for you to do. Now, I put my paper underneath. Now, let me first of all, you trace how wide you want the pocket to be. There are different measurements of the pocket. Well, advise don't make it too wide. So this is the pocket inside me like this. So I'm going to trace it out. Put my paper under like this. So my paper is not too wide. First of all, trace this slant pocket like this. Trace the side out. And trace the inner pocket out like this. So I'm going to cut it out. So we have 2 pockets going on inside here. Now we have one slant like this. Now this is the main trouser. So I'm going to, this slant side is what we need. I'm going to add that finish to it. This is what we need. This one is no more there again. So I'm going to do this now. You can see I have 2 pockets going on here. This is one pocket facing this on that one. Now look at this slant side. I add that finish to it and cut it out. So it's going to be like this. This is what I'm going to use to turn this mount here. It's going to serve at the facing there, and this one is going to be like this. So this is how you're going to create. This is the pocket for the trouser. See, I have 1, 2, and 3. These are the pocket facing. This is the main fabric. So this is the back and this is the front. So in our next video, I'm going to cut it out and sew it and see how it looks like. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our video so you can keep getting updated version of our video whenever we post a video. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to ask me any question you have. You have a lovely day. Bye bye.